Hello, I'd like to welcome all to Rimworld, where I thought I'd go ahead and make a small tutorial series so that everyone can get started with the game because it's a really fun game. If you like Dwarf Fortress, but you're always like, it's a little bit much, this game's got you covered. Now, there's a lot of mods for this game, and I will show you a couple of my favorite mods when we get to that, but let's just start off by showing off how you will get started. You won't have this option, by the way. You have to create a world first. You can pick some seeds, you can pick a size. Now, size doesn't actually affect the land itself. It only really affects how many squares. Like, it affects the resolution of the generated map, but it doesn't actually affect the map itself. As you can see, it's the same map. It's just that there were more squares earlier. I don't think it affects the name either. The name is unchangeable for some reason. But you generally just want to go with the default. It gives you enough options and possibilities. Only English. So we're gonna start a new colony. We're gonna go nice and easy because this isn't about the advanced stuff just yet. We're gonna take it nice and slow, get used to what we want to get used to. Cassandra Classic will typically make it more difficult as you go along. Eventually, you'll start dealing with mechanoids, which will surely test your defenses. She's not gonna play fair eventually, but you'll get a chance to get there. With Randy, it's near impossible to say what's going to happen. But I'll bet you it'll be a fun one. Once you get the grips of the game, you should be able to survive long enough to feel proud of yourself. But we're not here for that. We're here for this. Now, once you did that, you get to pick your world, organized by date, because that's how every single world works. Make a new colony for a world, and it shifts up to the top. So that's if you don't want to remember the names themselves. Now, there are several kinds of biomes, and since this is modless, we can't access ice sheet or ocean. But it will give you a fun little quip about how an ocean isn't great for you. These dots are bases. They are typically people that will hate you or like you. I think the color indicates whether they are nice to you or mean to you at the beginning. Typically, it's a good idea not to be too close. You don't want to be rubbing elbows with them. Maps are typically generated that the north is colder, the south is warmer. We've got all biomes, but I'm going to explain a few things about them first. This is tundra, very little wood, very harsh weather. You'll have to farm quickly or get some hydroponics, or, hunt. It's good hunting. Buffaloes are great. And there's the good old-fashioned desert. Barren, very little wood. You'll want to get some tree farms going, if not pry them from ships. You're in for a rough one, but it's not as bad. The weather is hot, and you'll want to get the cowboy hat and a duster, but heat stroke is less dangerous generally than this. Although you need a cooler, and unlike campfires, there is no inexpensive way to cool a facility or building. Next up is the shrubland. It's a really nice, comfortable place. It's not too bad. You've got some trees, you've got some logs. It's a good place if you want to take it a little bit rougher, but don't want to really risk too much. If you are close to water, by the way, there will be some beach, so we're going to look for a nice place next to the water. This is a jungle. Very thick wood. It's lots of wood. If you want to build wood structures, that's great. There's a lot of wildlife to hunt. They will probably try to kill you, so it is a great place, however, for a fire, so be careful with that. And this is a boreal forest. Basically, it's a forest, but a lot colder. Not a great place to be, but if you don't have a choice, it's not the worst place to be either. It's a very good starter area to get the grip with some survival tactics. And then there's temperate forest, which is very cold in winter and very hot in summer, and you'll need both sets of clothing to make it just fine. Oh look, there. For some reason, they spawned a outlander town in the middle of the ocean. Fun, very, very fun. I don't know if they can reach you if that's the case, but these things indicate mountains. If there are small hills, big hills, or straight up mountainous terrain, which affects how much stone there is available, how much iron. There's typically stone lying around, so that's not a major concern. But I think we're going to go for something nice and close to the water. Let's not make things too complicated for ourselves. I like to pick something that's a little bit mountainy, because those mountains are really potent. They're really important. If you want to start an easy base, go with mountains. Now you might notice that this stuff doesn't seem evenly spread. It's because biomes are generated based on. Oh look, these are probably gonna be easy to work with. They are based on how high the temperature is and how much rainfall there is, which is why in places you'd expect more temperate forest, there's deserts. It's important to always check all the details. Marble is a very pretty stone. Granite is a very strong stone. The other ones are sort of in between. Also, but that's more meta game for later on. For now, you typically want to look for something that's either in a hot area or a cold area, but you want to have some trees. So, rainforest is a good place to get the grips if you go with a nice wooded area. But we're gonna pick something. I want to pick something temperate, and I want to pick something temperate that isn't too cold, that isn't too hot. Something. Oh, we got some marble and some slate. I like slate. Slate's really pretty. Slate and marble. Marble look. It's a bit hot. It's a bit lower to the south. But let's go for it. Let's get our colony set up. So this is your colonist screen, from where you will select them. It's important to make sure that you've got coverage, and this is important because it doesn't mention things like wardening, firefighting, and cleaning, which are cleaning's not as important, but it's important to have firefighters. And you'll want to make sure that you know what they can and can't do. You can look at this. This determines what this says, and this is on the side. You can always look at these, and it tells you what it does, and we'll get to that in a moment. Oh, excuse me. So as I said, these basically help increase or decrease starting stats, and they give a little bit of backstory, and they give a little bit of history, and these are traits. Mental break threshold. Plus is bad because it makes them more susceptible to mental breaks. A jogger is just like, hey, I run a bit faster. Got fast walker. I also got nervous. Very, very similar people. This is only of interest when drones are around or when a ship part crashes. Generally, this isn't a big important trait. Careful shooting, I guess, it's nifty. Some of these abilities actually give other things. Let's see if we can get one. Abrasive means that if they talk to someone, even if they're very social, they'll give them a bad moodlet, and that's not great. Psychically deaf. That's great. Psychically deaf. Let's get some interesting. Psychopath. They're not affected by corpses. I want to show you Green Thumb. Too smart. Yeah, too smart for his goodness. Steadfast. No. Warm-skinned. Here's an important thing to note. You want minimum temperature to be as low as possible, so minus is good. Maximum, you want to have as high as possible. Because once it goes below minimum, they get frostbite, and when it goes above maximum, they get heat stroke. This is an important thing to remember when you get your character set up. I want to get a hard worker. It just means they work really fast. But it's always pretty good. Bloodlust, I guess that they just get a good moodlet out of doing some nasty stuff. Lazy makes them slower, nervous, depressive, makes them, it's just general lowering. Trigger happy, make them shoot a lot. I want to get Green Thumb because it's probably one of the more invested traits. Brawler makes it that they get a negative moodlet for using shooting weapons, but they're really good with this. They're really strong, really strong. Sanguine, yeah, that's a really good one. Make sure that they're always a little bit happy. They're not easily off-put. Can I just get Green Thumb? It's not that hard to roll Green Thumb. I usually have one by now. Seem to be getting the same traits with this guy. Let's try someone else. Here we go, Green Thumb. So here's the fun thing. This mood bonus is 1 per plant, and it's actually really good, and it also starts at 2 growing. And let's just focus on this. This is just age. Age is mostly cataract and bad backs. A small problem, but if you have the money, you can just buy things to make that go away, so to speak. Generally, gender doesn't matter. Name is for you to pick. If you change the name, you can actually make a nickname, which is the one that they are shown by on the screen. Like it says, displayed at all times. Only displayed at certain menus. Only displayed at certain menus. So let's look at the skills. Let's pick some important ones. Construction is really important early on. You want to have high construction because you want to get a base set up as quickly as possible. Mining is important. You want to get some resources. A very good starter skill, not a bad one. Good growing is always great. It helps with chopping down trees. It makes it really easy to get yourself some cheap wood and get your basic setup. Research isn't too big a deal. Maybe later, but for the most part, research isn't something you'll be doing in a rush. You're not going to be angsty for that. shooting and melee, you want to have a melee guy just in case because you drop with 2 ranged weapons and a melee weapon. So you want to have at least one person who likes to bat shit people. Shooting is just shooting. It mostly affects how well they aim. Social, it's mostly for trading. It's not too important. It's also good for wardening. It's a trait you want, but it's not crucial to your survival. At least not at the start. You want some later when you want to start expanding. So don't go with it just all low. Cooking, I don't know. It depends on if you want to build a nutrient paste dispenser or not. But cooking generally not a bad skill, not a priority one because simple meals are just fine and you don't need anything for that. You want to have someone who knows medicine well or learns medicine well because you want to make sure a lot of people can do medicine because if your doctor is taken out, you are boned because you don't want your doctor ending up with a scar or two. Artistic is very irrelevant. Unless you want to go for selling statues, it's not a skill you'll care about. So never mind that. Crafting is not important early on. Again, it's something that comes up later, and then it becomes semi-important. You want to keep your eye on that. Maybe you want to get one, but maybe later. Not now. Now is not the time. You notice these flames are basically experience boosters. If they have no passion, they get a third. If they have some passion, they get a whole. And if they have a burning passion, they learn really fast. A thing, once a skill gets to level 10 and above, it will start to degrade and lose experience over time, which severely hinders the ability to learn certain skills, especially things like artistic, which only gains experience after it is completed, and it's not that much once you really think about it. Shooting and melee also really suffer from that, but mostly these are just bonuses. They are boons. They don't help as much as you think. They're mostly for late game because then things pick up. Ugh. Oh, this looks dreadful, but I like his distributions. Got a very good medic here. Now I could pick up some researching. I want to get a constructor and a grower. Oh, I like this distribution. It's got a lot of passion. It's a very strong character. I think I'm gonna reroll this guy. See if I can get something a little bit lower. Ah, look at this. This is a strong person. He's got ambition for shooting and crafting, and he's got some medicine skill under his thumb, and he's got some cooking, so he can start making fine meals straight from the get-go. Got some construction there. You also make sure that you have as much coverage as possible with all your skills, so that at least you've got some ability. Wow, this guy is certainly made for just bashing people's skulls in, but I don't know. A good card is something you shouldn't be afraid to pick. But he only shoots. He doesn't do much. He also doesn't clean. And that's the thing that bothers me. If they don't clean or haul, they're kind of useless when there's nothing going on. So we're going to re-roll him because he's just completely useless in the grand scheme of things. Okay, we got a scientist, so I guess we don't care too much about medicine. Ooh, we've got a very good cooker, but we already have a good cooker. Not too important. Ooh. He does... Oh, man. Ooh, this guy's got a... Actually, I think I'm going to give this guy a gun. Damn. Really like this layout. It's got a lot of auxiliary. He can pick up stuff where necessary. And these you'll do a lot. You'll do a lot of growing, so that doesn't matter. So let's just go with next. Let's just get the map set up. And I'll take a small break, and then we'll take a look at some of the basics of the map. So that you can survive, at the very least, your first day and get your... Forgive me, it's, the game apparently resets its resolution, and Fraps doesn't like that. So the three of you awake from your crypto-sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely make to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. So when you start... It's already moving. You want to pause it real quick. Want to get a good look. Ooh, we start near some plasteel. That's not great. We don't want to do too much with plasteel right now. It's also very difficult to mine out. It's got a lot of HP. Rock's generally a lot weaker and has a lot less HP. But there's even differences in rock strength, which is really interesting. We got slate chunks. Like I said, you will find this on most maps, so that at least you have some. This is steel, which you can mine metal from. It's really, really important to find some of that. We've got some animals we can hunt. Very nice map. I like it. You'll notice that some supplies have landed and gotten strewn about. Ooh, we got some more plasteel. Good, good. Yeah, we got some ruins that we can claim and settling quickly. You can move in next to these. I don't recommend it, as it's a bit of a risk to move in next to a cryosleep casket. There's a chance they'll bust open, and what's inside will either try to shoot you or not. Generally, it's not a risk you want to take. The first thing you need to do, however, is let the game play its course and tell you what to do. In this case, we want to quickly make sure that we know who everyone is. We want to unforbid these materials. Just click on them and press F or click this button. Because if it has a little X mark on it, and this icon has a little X on it, they won't pick it up and move it or use it for anything. And that's really kind of sad, because at the moment, you can kind of use anything you can find. You want to make sure you have as much as you can. Weapons start forbidden. Let's see who this guy is. It's Jeff. What's Jeff got on him? Oh, this is some slag. I thought he had some. Okay, this is he's a shooter. We have a shooter. You want to click people, and you want to right click. You want to say equip. You'll have to do this with most equipment. That includes things like weapons, clothes, armor. Okay, now it tells us what to do. We need a stockpile, which is relatively simple. You just go here. You go to zone. Zones are basically places you want them to do specific things. Snow clear region is for areas where it snows. You want to say, if there's snow here, move it away. No roof is more when you want to build an indoor farm, quotation marks, on the indoor part. Home region, they'll clean, extinguish fires. It's essentially, it's where you want them to make sure everything's nice and tidy. Growing zone is for where you want to grow some stuff. Dumping stockpile is for slag, corpses, and rocks chunks. Now, slag is this stuff. It typically comes from electrical equipment breaking or crashing objects from the sky, like drop pods. If a drop pod lands, it always leaves a chunk of slag, which is nice. And then general stockpiles. We just want to put a nice little stockpile right here, just enough so we can put some stuff on it. We'll put a nice. No, that's a growing zone. I want to put a dumping zone here, so that we can get rid of some of our junk. Orders, mine is mine this, and they'll mine it. Claim is that they will turn these unowned objects into owned objects, so that they will repair them and care for them and make them feel nice and comfortable. Harvest is to harvest growing plants. It specifically refers to berry bushes, any sort of crop you're growing if you want to harvest it early. Cut plants is to get rid of grass, trees that haven't grown enough. They have to be. Oh yeah, I don't have the HUD up. You need to cut these trees because I don't think you can chop them. Oh, you can, but this one you can't. This one isn't sufficiently grown for wood, so you have to cut it. Chop wood is logical. Haul things is usually done on rock chunks and slag. A lot of things like these, you have to specifically tell them to be hauled. Yeah, smooth floor is for rock. So they move a bit faster on it, and it makes it look prettier. Plan is in case you want to be like, I want to have this room and then that room, and I want to build this big thing here. You can do that. You can make sure that all the dimensions add up. First, let's claim this whole thing. Okay, we already have. Look at smart old me. You'll see deconstruct on everything. Cancel is stop an order. You can immediately stop it and say, no, stop that now. Deconstruct is essentially a building will be marked. You will get some of your resources back. Typically, damaged things give less. We're going to cancel that for now. As you see these little marks, these are quick keys you can press to quickly perform the action. Now, we don't want to build beds immediately. It's a little bit expensive to just slap down some beds. So we're just going to put some. I like how rest effectiveness isn't on the royal bed, because it's technically part of a mod. Oh, we just want to put down some beds. Real simple beds they can rest their head in. And now it's away because we have enough beds for everyone. It's fine. So now we have that. Yeah. We just let them do their business, and we're going to speed it up a bit. There we go. Now they can do their business. Oh yeah, let's look at overview while we're at it. This shows you what everyone does. Without the UE upgrade, you don't see their interests, but we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, just know that the brighter the box, the more skill they have. So you typically want those people doing it. This is basically... this is just, I want you to do this whenever. But you want to click on this so you can quickly decide on what to go with. Higher priority is a brighter color and indicates they want to do it more. Right click to lower or go straight to 1, it loops, or let the left mouse button to slowly increase it. You want to have everyone on doctoring because it's kind of important. Your cook, maybe you want to put that a bit higher. Wardening is important because if you have a prisoner, they might starve. That's not good. Everyone should do constructing and repairing, in my opinion. At least repairing and firefighting. Because repairing, it's important that your stuff actually works. Everyone can do mining, but you might want to change that later as personnel becomes available. And only trained experts are required. But for now, we need stuff done, so we want them to do stuff. Hauling and cleaning, again, something everyone should do. Crafting, not so much. Plant cutting you should do, because plant cutting involves mostly trees and stuff, and it takes a while if you really have got a big order standing. But let's go chop some wood. You can click or hover over trees to see how far they are in their growth. You can quickly decide if you want to chop them. At 100%, they'll earn you the most wood. So generally the best to chop down. Let's put down some structure. Now, you might notice, where can I only build steel? No. You can right-click, and you can select the material. These are only the materials you have available. If I get some marble blocks, I can select marble from this option menu. But since I don't have any, I can only select these materials that I have. Silver, by the way, is expensive, because silver is really easy to get, and tends to be acquired from large quantities from most places. You just want to slap down a nice door. If you're building an area, I recommend building your first house out of wood. It's not very durable, it'll burn down, but at least you've got a place to sleep. At least you have a place to sleep. Auto doors, generally not a bad idea, but they cost a lot of steel and a lot of materials, and you don't really need the small speed up it gives you. The next thing you want to do is some power. Now you can pick. You can pick between solar generators, which will slowly accumulate when it is sun, but there are eclipses, and then they don't do anything, or during the night. So with a solar generator, you need one of these, which stores 1000 watts, but doesn't work outside too well, it'll explode. We're going to build a wind turbine, we're going to take it nice and easy. We're going to connect it via power conduit. Now, you can build conduits in walls. You notice the conduit wall, which is essentially just a wall with a conduit pre-built into it. You can deconstruct the conduit from the wall, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Just going to put it here. Doors automatically conduct power, and then we're going to drag it over here, all the way up to here, so that it connects. Because this thing occupies all of this, and it's all conduit, so you don't have to concern yourself. Just put it down nice and easy. See, now they're building stuff, getting to work, making sure everything operates as it should. A quick note, if you have stored power, like with a battery, there is the unfortunate thing that your conduits may randomly explode. It's a consequence of how the game works. You have to keep that in mind. Orbital trade beacon, not important right now, but it's something you want to keep around your mind. So yeah, they'll start working on that, and then we've got ourselves some basic facilities. Maybe I'll set up some small mining operations so that we can have a little bit of backup steel. But at the very least, you'll now have a basic place where your people can sleep, and they can eat their meals, their packaged survival meals, which won't spoil, which is really nice. We'll let them haul the haulables. Is that person cleaning but not hauling? Start hauling! I understand that cleaning is of great importance to you, but it's better if you start hauling some stuff. Getting all the materials in there. We'll build a room. Oh, it's because these aren't technically walls, so it's complaining. Oh, look, we have something. We have a packaged survival meal officially in our supplies. These are your... you can click this and it shows you the raw materials, like the raw stuff. It shows you everything. But with this, it tends to group them together in things like meals and raw resources, which is a little bit more manageable. Although this gives you a much quicker oversight. This is generally preferred when you're dealing with mods, because mods will really get in the way with that. So we've got some basic stuff. Let's set up a nice growing zone, and I'll talk about the plants, and then we'll call it quit. Growing zones only can be built on actual soil. Apparently that includes gravel. Does it include gravel? It includes gravel. You want to make sure that your growing zone is a nice, good size. I've noticed that a 4x4 tends to be enough for a guy or so and get some backup. So we're going to make it nice and big. How about a 5x5 to start off? We're not that hungry for food, so we're just going to build a nice big size. Let's make it a good-sized area, and we're going to probably mine in a bit more and set up an area where... No, we're not going to do that right now. We don't have to worry about cooling. Growing. There's lots of things you can grow. Potato. People don't want to eat it raw. Grows really quickly. Very good if you make meals. Strawberry. People don't mind eating them raw. They take a little longer to grow, and they're tasty. Doesn't do anything though, but they're tasty. Cotton plant. Used for making clothes. We'll get to that. Nothing else. Devil strand. Also used for making clothes. A lot slower than cotton. It takes months to grow devil strand. Literal months. But it's incredibly valuable. And if you have a good clothier, or just like making clothes, really good way to make some money over a long period of time. Xerigium is a medical plant. It is 85% as effective as regular medicine. It spoils over a very long period of time, but if you have a freezer, you can always have some medical supplies growing around. And if you have a good enough doctor, it doesn't really matter that much. These all just look pretty. These are trees. Some grow fast, some grow slow. They generally take months regardless. And they'll give you wood. For now, you just want to grow potatoes. You don't want to get too complex. But, as I said, it's always important to have some backups. So we're going to grow a little bit of Xerigium. We're also going to grow some cotton, because cotton takes a damn while. And we want to have some cotton in case we want to make some clothes. Because we have a man without a shirt who's probably really upset he doesn't have a shirt. And we want to make some dusters and some hats and make sure everyone's nice and cozy. And then they start hauling away things that are in the way, and they get rid of trees that are in the way, and then they go to their beds, and they're going to have a nice nap. I'm going to build them some beds, because we have some wood. We have some wood lying around. We don't want them to get... Like, these are their thoughts, and as you can see, they start with this. This degrades into a lesser form over time. This is very nice. It's a good way to get them some snipe boost. This is that they don't have a table and a chair to eat on. This is that they don't have an actual bed, but a sleeping spot. And this is that someone else is in the same room. Gear, you want to have this. You can click them to drop, or you can look at information. You can see armor and what it protects and how much it costs if they're flammable, and temperature coverage. Door key is mostly that they can enter and exit places. Characters, just an oversheet. You can click the eye, by the way, to see really advanced schematics as to how this person works. As you can see, this guy's got 2 cataracts and he can't see for shit, and he has some problems with manipulation, because apparently he either has a scratch scar that he got recently, or he just, had some problems, but doesn't matter. Omnivorous, you can take some temperature, he moves pretty good. And he got some good speeds. It's alright for right now. Very bad improvement. Very bad improvement. And health, it's just generally where you can see people's health. And then we can look at Jeff. He's fine. Jeff's got everything. Yeah, she's got a bad back because she's 51. See... It's always something with those new colonists. They're just people, They're not... Well, some are vat-grown soldiers, but... Yeah, they're just people. They need to hold on. You want to give them something good. I'm sure you could cure this, though, if you give them a prosthetic. In fact, you can just implant prosthetics into people. And I think that the base game has... prosthetic eyes. Operations, you can install peg legs if they have bad legs. You can install dentures. I don't know what that takes. If you have prosthetics, like human arms or legs spare, because you chopped them off, you bastard, or you bought them from an exotic trader, you can install them here. Do note, be careful if it is a leg or an arm and you do the wrong one. That really hurts. People have left and right kidneys and lungs, which is really nice. Gives you 2, and they can swap out. You can take out their eyes or euthanize them if you just don't want them to suffer. Prisoners, you can amputate them as well. So, if you're really starving, you can take someone hostage and chop his eye out, but that's just mean, and maybe you're that kind of person. We're going to speed through the night. So as you can see, months are 14 days, which is important. It means years are about a little less than half as long as ours. Well, they're typically not as long anyway. So people are going to do this stuff. They're going to haul their materials, build the beds, make sure everything's operational. In the original base game, a long time ago, it used to be that some buildings would take damage over time. They got rid of it, I think. As you can see, this stuff takes 10 days to grow, and this only takes 2 days to grow. And there's a cotton plant. Oh, it doesn't even take that much to grow. I thought they took longer, but they're just potato plants. But they don't give you that much. You need a lot of cotton to do something. They're all hard at work, earning their stay, and just generally making things happen. Gonna chop some wood. Just have some supplies and some backups. Well, days already be gone. Like they really didn't get much done. we'll go to day 3 so that we can experience the marvel of them having to carry stuff. Our battery's getting fuller and fuller. Efficiency 50%, by the way, means that of every 2 watts you put in, it only stores 1 watt. This number is very simple. This is maximum. This is how much it has right now. This is how much watt is currently being produced. If the wind blows a little less strong, this number goes down. If it is negative, you have a problem. And if you have negative, if you have batteries, it will start to drain batteries. And this is how much is currently in all of your batteries connected to this network. You can have separate networks, which might be... There's really nothing to do. There's nothing to do right now. Really? You do know there's all this... There's no center... It's a dumping stockpile. That's why no one did anything. See, it's always important to check. Now, dumping stockpiles are just regular stockpiles, but with their configurations chopped around a bit. Chunks are just chunks. Body parts. You got some prosthetics. Really cool stuff. Resources. Priority is what you want to have it at. If you have a cooler, you just want to make a zone in it and make it so that only foods go in it and have it on preferred so that people will put their stuff in there first. Of course, one colonist is idle because, oh, I'm too good for carrying things. The reason it says needs meal source is that it wants you to have a stove or something to work with. Let's get rid of that. Let's actually get some stuff set in here. Well, we'll continue later, but for now, just look at that. We got a really nice place going. We got some resources in our stockpile. Things are going well. Let's save it. We don't have a name yet. I think that takes a couple of days before they let you name it. So let's just name it Colony 1. And I'll see you guys next time. I hope this made sure that you at least have food and that your people aren't dying. And the reason there's a lamp here is because if it's dark, I can turn this off. They're all like, no, why is it dark? But if they're sleeping, they don't care. In fact, they don't care if they sleep in the cold. If you are, by the way, in a cold area, a campfire can keep a room nice and warm for a couple of days. You probably don't have a lot of wood, but it keeps it warm. A heater is better for later, but it eats power instead of just burning up over time. And a cooler is good if you're in the desert or in shrublands. Though not all deserts are in cold places. Do remember to point it right. The blue areas where the cold goes, the red areas where the heat goes, and that is some heat. You can't make cold out of energy is a problem of physics. See you guys next time.